Alright everybody, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing great today. I hope you're staying safe and healthy in the light of recent events. As always, let me know how you're doing in chat and if there are any technical difficulties that you're experiencing. I'm willing to know as well. Today I don't really have a specific topic. I had a few ideas bouncing around, but none of them kind of stuck with me really. So I'm sort of open for suggestions, and I think in the meantime, while while we're discussing topics, I think I will just watercolor the guy from the previous stream. And for that, I will first remove all the pencil marks. And let's see how it will go. But yeah, how is it going over there? How is life? How is drawing? I guess a lot of people can now have more free time to stay at home, or maybe not free, but at least some time to stay at home and draw or sketch maybe. Who knows? Yeah, so let's do, I think, watercolors, where I would have this really nice tin with watercolors that I got from my girlfriend, and I will use them. I also got myself an ink fountain pen with ink, but I'm not sure I want to use it right now. Maybe eventually. Let's see. Alright, who do we have today? We have Schmelecopter hiding in the chat. Good morning, Schmelecopter. So this guy, we did this robot on the last stream. Hey, posting in Instagram. Oh no, Instagram stories about my stream. Oh jeez, you have 1 million followers. They will all come here and swarm this. And I have a trash garbage recycling remover car right in front of the window, so maybe I will have to mute myself for a little bit. Let's see how it goes. Let me know if the car sounds outside is too much. In the meantime, let's maybe paint the background first, or something like that. So if you remember correctly, or if I remember correctly, this robot is basically a plant. He is watering plants. That's his main job. And I think I will also add him this sprinkler here on this side, because otherwise he looks a little bit too militaristic, I guess. So there's this sprinkler, so nobody can get confused that he's just a gardener. Something like that, maybe. It makes him more, I mean, maybe a little bit less militaristic. So let's stay with that. I know that this stream, maybe streaming of painting of the previous stream, is not something that you can follow along if you weren't on the last stream or if you haven't painted a robot. But let me know if you like this idea of doing something over 2 streams. Maybe start I don't know, design a character on one stream and then paint that character on the next one or something like that. Because we can also do that, but then it's kinda the question of continuity, you know, like you kinda have to stick around for those streams, which I personally don't mind if you guys stick around, but maybe for some people it might be hard to follow the schedule. Don't know. Let's see. Maybe I should also post a story about the stream. Although I kinda did it yesterday, so. But I heard that, you know, with all this, if you're live streaming and doing something like that, you know, some live, I don't know, entertainment, then most of the interaction and promotion of that stuff happens off the stream. So kind of was an interesting idea that you can think about, like if you're thinking about your stream, then you can think from the non-streaming perspective, you know, like basically your stream is, if you're streaming, let's say, I don't know, 2 hours per day, then 22 hours you're not streaming. You know what I mean? Like that's, I think that's one of the interesting ways to look at that I didn't think about, is that, you know, most of the time you're not streaming, but how are you promoting your stream during that time? So it's kind of like, you know, counterintuitive that most of the work should happen between the streams, but I haven't really worked out my approach to that yet. Maybe streaming on Instagram, as Schmelikopter suggested a couple of times. Maybe that would be a good start. Have anyone tried streaming to Instagram? Would be curious to know. How did it go? kind of mixing stuff on the go. I don't know where to put this stuff. What are you painting today, Schmelicopter? Or anyone else in chat? Let's see, who do we have there? Hey, I don't know, seems sketchy. He's with us today. So the story behind this robot, for some people who might have missed the previous stream, although you can still catch the recording of the stream on YouTube, but in general the topic was spring robot, and we did a few I kind of did a few sketches, and then we picked like the good qualities of each sketch and kind of combined them in that more refined way. Schmelicopter, I'm thinking to finish the robot too. I think that's a good idea. Let's both finish the robots and see where it gets us. I got myself this set of watercolors because I mean I bought individually all the colors because I watched a video where a guy who looked very trustworthy was like suggesting really specific watercolors, and he said like, yeah, these are the only watercolors you will need, because you know, like they have these special qualities of like they mix well together, they produce nice colors apparently, and you know, you basically you can mix any color you need with them. And I was thinking like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like kind of limiting myself with the color palette, and like I've been using 4 watercolors for a couple of years, but yeah, I thought, okay, I will get myself those colors, and yeah, I have this one. It's 4 of the watercolors. This the red one, this indigo, yellow, and ochre and green. Those I had for like 3 years, I think. And the rest, like this first, the whole row above this one, and these guys, the red and 2 blues, like this basically thing, I bought maybe like a couple of weeks ago, or no wait, it was in February somewhere. So I thought, great, I need these specific colors, and then I can mix anything else. And that, like, I was really excited about it because I thought it's both limiting and kind of liberating at the same time. But so far I can't say that I'm really, you know, blown away by the possibility of those colors to mix. Like the blues that he suggested are, I think, kind of similar like, you know, these two blues. I mean, yes, this one is a little bit more pale, maybe a little more in the green direction, but still it's really close. Then this red is, I mean, it's called light red, but it's kind of orangey and not really pigmented. Like basically all of the colors, even though I bought the professional quality or whatever they call it, artist quality watercolors, they still kind of not pigmented enough, and that's a bummer. And I can't say that, you know, the mixing capabilities are any much different from what I'm used to. So I'm kind of not sure about that whole thing. But the guy in the video mentioned that, you know, like these are the colors that painter, like old masters, were working on and kind of defined as their preferred set of colors, like Vermeer and, you know, these other Dutch painters. And you know, Dutch painters are really good, so I thought they might know something. But apparently they they don't know shit about watercolors. You know, there is so much variability within the watercolors that I guess you can't really rely on that. You know, like every company uses its own pigments, and every type of pigment has its own its own what is it called, impurities, and when they mix, you never know how they will react to each other, kind of. So let's mix some of this cobalt blue with some green. Dark. Well, actually, funny enough, in that set there was no greens at all, which I guess makes sense because you can mix green from yellow and blue. And this. But I really like green. That's why it was, I think, the first watercolor that I bought. It's just, I think it actually was this one, the Rembrandt, whatever it's called. Yeah, as you can see by the size of this watercolor, it was the first one I bought. Helicopter says maybe you should use them for a longer time to get used to. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I won't throw them away, so I will just keep using them, and maybe one day I will just find out the way that they're supposed to work together, and all will be fine. 2 blues and 2 yellows to mix different greens. You might be onto something, Helicopter. But some of the colors are really nice, though. They have this the color that never heard about before, Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray. Yeah, it's really good, dark gray color, kinda. I will show you in a second as soon as I finish with this darkening the forest behind the robot. trying to keep some of the spaces non-painted in flat color because I wanted to have a look of like a sunny forest kind of. So this is Payne's gray. I don't know, it's a really nice gray, like cold gray color, and you can just, I guess, add it to stuff to make it darker. Never like really learn how to do watercolors, so it's all kind of random. Trying to add some shadows and maybe like some variations of color here and there. Usually I do quite a lot of washes, so this is just the beginning. I'm thinking maybe there is like a beam of light here, so maybe there is some more warm yellow color behind the guy in the background. Lines. I think I want him to be like, he can be kind of like, I don't know, green, yeah, gray, yellow, orange, whatever, what, green, brown color, you know, like to camouflage himself. That's the word, to camouflage himself in the forest. But since he is basically just a gardener, he doesn't really need to camouflage himself, I think. Maybe it's even worse if a gardener camouflages himself in the garden. But yeah, so I thought maybe he's instead not camouflaged, but the opposite. Maybe he's painted really bright. Especially if he has some tools that are dangerous, or if he has some, like, I don't know, chemicals in his battery, or, you know, some stuff that's dangerous for humans. So maybe he's like really bright orange, like the street workers vests, you know, like those orange and green, yellow, green vests. So maybe he'll have something like that. Not the vest, but just the color. If you do continue your robot from the last stream as well, Schmelicopter, then at some point would be great to see it. So feel free to share it on our Telegram channel or something like that. If you want, guys, I think I can set up the stream to have meta share, so you can just post links to the stuff you draw, or to your Instagram accounts or something like that, just for more exposure and, I don't know, to find nice artists. Oh, no. That's what happens if you don't wait for it to dry. That brown is really nice though. I think it's burnt umber. Just add some blue to that for the shadows. And then just pull, yeah, to make this kind of transition. Was thinking about drawing something like related to to the recent events and news and all this stuff. Maybe like, I don't know, the house of a coronavirus or something. I don't know, but I thought maybe actually it's better to keep this stuff away and just switch to something different, because there is so much of the news in the air, so you kind of like, you hear about it every day anyway, so maybe you don't want to hear about it on stream. Maybe I'll add some ochre to this side, so it's a little bit more warm, because apparently there is a source of light. Alright, let's mix some more greens, let's say. So we'll just take this bunch of yellow and a bunch of blue. And maybe we add some Payne's gray there to make it darker. Oh, nice. Well, yeah, it actually mixes quite well together. I guess I'm just not used to really mixing colors. I used to use the flat color that I have, plus maybe some variations here and there, but never really mix a whole pile of specific color and then just use that one, which I guess how you're supposed to paint. Maybe some more of this blue to make it a little different for this side. Shadows on this side. will be fun to paint the robot because he has so many different textures, or maybe not so many, but quite a lot. Like he has glass tubes, glass boxes. He himself is made out of metal. He has these hoses around, some different kinds of textures, so it might be fun. Let's get back to this warm green color. Maybe I should have done a little bit of color exploration before diving straight in, you know, like with just to find out what colors the robot should be. But you only live once. You only don't know where that came from, but what I wanted to say is actually that I try to keep reminding myself that, you know, if I can draw this robot, you know, like I did draw this robot, so I can draw this robot. So theoretically, if, you know, if something goes completely horribly wrong and I mess up this painting and it turns out to be awful or something like that, then I can draw it again, because, you know, if you can draw it once, it means you have the enough skill to do it, and that skill doesn't go bad or doesn't end. Like the only thing that happens to the skill when you practice it is it's getting better. So if you can draw it once, you can draw it twice, unless you're using some sort of, I don't know, random lucky, I don't know, luck based paint or brush or something. If you just get lucky, but in general, if you can draw something, you can draw it again. So don't be afraid of messing up stuff. And I guess especially it's easier for people who do digital drawing, because you can just go back and fix everything. I've been having a lot of fun with Procreate lately. Yesterday even revived the Street Sketch Saturday tradition that I kinda abandoned for the last few months or weeks. But yesterday I drew a bird and I tried to do it on the tablet, because I never did Street Sketch Saturday on the tablet. It was kind of fun. There was a big fat cat that joined us during the Street Sketch Saturday part. It was ridiculous. It was really fat, and it was a lab cat. It just came to me while I was drawing, just went straight to the labs and kind of occupied the whole space. So it was a little bit uncomfortable to paint, to draw, but you know, at least it was really adorable. And people passing by were smiling at us. you're curious to see that. You mean the Street Sketch Saturday? It was kind of an unusual Street Sketch Saturday because it was I usually draw houses or something like that, but this time we were sitting in front of the bird cage with birds, and there was Faison and yeah, a few of them. They were male and female ones, and the male one, they had different cages, and they had probably mating period, so they were like running around female Faisons and just like hissing at them for some reason and making this big feathery neck. I will show you in the Telegram chat for side notes. Street Sketch Saturday. So if you go to t.me/sketchbook, you will join our Telegram group, and there you can actually join the discussions or show the stuff that you drew or something like that. I just posted the faces there, and there is a park in Leiden here where they're just random birds out of no like I don't know what are they doing there. Haven't found any information on that, but it's just a park with birds. Like there is a big cage, and there are some parrots and some pheasants and some, I think, kind of like wild pigeon guys. Starting out with just the metallic look of this water sprinkler, but not sure if that's the right way to go. I don't know if he's wholly metallic or if he has some specific, or he's like orange rust colors somewhere. He's probably gonna be rusty as well, but I will do it later. Like all these kind of effects I usually would like to add afterwards. As well as shadows and highlights. With highlights though, when working with watercolor, you kind of have to start with them, or at least keep in mind where the light will be, so you don't put accidentally some dark color there. But I usually mess it up, so you know, don't listen to me. So the way this robot is working, he has this barrel inside of his body, kind of like a carcass with a barrel, and in the barrel he has this special liquid that he sprinkles on different plants in the forest. To which, depending on the plant itself, he is adding these like extra chemicals or something. So it's kind of like privately brewed special drinks for plants. He's kind of like a forest barista. Garden barista. Not gonna go too much into details of his legs, because there is a whole bunch of his body that is not painted yet. Let's try to keep the highlights on the correct side, which is, I think, left. Like, I think the sun is coming from top left, so that's where the highlights will be on his armor, on his body in general. So a lot of stuff on the right will be in the shadow. Not all of it, but I think a lot. And if you add just a little bit of a white, like if you leave a little bit of white on the edge, it gives you this nice rim light effect that, especially on metallic surfaces, you would get a lot. Hey, Schmelicopter, I posted the pheasant. You want to take a look. Should we do some kind of series of streams? Maybe like painting the whole story or something like that? Or would that be boring? Let's say, I don't know, next stream we take this same robot and paint something else related to his job. What say you? Alright, so let's do a little bit of this other blue. Maybe here in this panel. I don't know how much of this will be orange, so I don't want to overcommit to this metallic blue. Looking forward to painting rust and all these little details and moss and all this stuff, because I can imagine this robot to be a really old So let's see. That would be cool to see a finished version of something. Finished version of something. How do we paint the finished version of something though? Alright, here we'll have this orange backpack, I think, because again, dangerous materials. Everybody around him needs to know. This is actually a really good orange, even though it's called light red, I think. Ah, digital stuff. Yeah, I would also like to see something finished, but I don't know how to finish digital stuff. Like, I really struggle with that. Even the smaller things, like I did little sketches of the, what are they called, of textures. I will actually also send it into the same chat. I did like 3 different materials, but I don't know, it's just little sketches. It doesn't feel like it's a finished piece. Don't really know what's missing. Like, I think I either just need to spend more time on those pieces or learn the right way to do it or something like that. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions on how to finish up the digital artworks, I'm kind of okay already with sketching there and just throwing ideas on the digital paper. But at some point then I do the sketch, I can do the nice outline and all that, and then I would do like these big blobby flat colors just to get it started, and then I get stuck. Don't know if any of you have the same issue or not, but yeah, you know, kind of weird. Right, so does he have the same kind of backpack down below there? Maybe he does. Maybe a little bit different shade of orange because it's a different part of the suit. If you tried the same process as you do with watercolors or ink, yeah, I kinda did, but it's probably the wrong approach for digital paintings, because like I don't know, with watercolors I just add little bits here, little bits there, and then it kind of slowly comes together. but with digital stuff, it's just I add a little bit here, a little bit there, and it all looks kind of separated still. Like it still seems weird. But I guess it's just a matter of getting used to it. Like I haven't done any digital drawings until last week, or like 2 weeks ago, so, or I mean like reliably. So it's gonna take a while to get used to this medium, like with any other medium, I guess. So we'll see how far this will this approach will get me. A little bit more red on this one. Just wanted to stand out from the background a bit more. Also was thinking about doing some 3D modeling, not on stream, because I guess that's, I don't know, maybe one day on stream as well, on some other stream, but Sunday mornings are just for this kind of chill streams. But maybe with modeling it also could be fun. Let's make this tube there redder, maybe. Maybe add some more of this brown as well, just to make it darker. I want to explore more sketchy approach with digital art, at least, because that's kind of what I'm lacking, and that's what I, on the other hand, really like, when people can sketch something like kind of like this, but more kind of atmospheric sketches, you know, like when you just throw around some shapes and colors in digital paintings, and then suddenly it's like it has this feel of, I don't know, cavern with water dripping everywhere and stuff like that. You know, just more sketchy approach, because I'm painting quite literally and usually with a lot of details and always trying to make it look kind of realistic or natural. Which is not a bad thing in itself, but wanted to try out something new and see. Sorry, there is another car passing by. Not even a car, someone on the scooter, I think. Leading some shadow to the bottom of the battery pack. That's at least how I imagine this thing to be. this thing will be still metallic. Like a connector or something like that. This one is probably, like, if it's some sort of exhaust pipe with a generator that he has on the back, then it probably would be really dirty and covered with all this smoke and little unburned pieces of fuel. But still some kind of metallic shade to it, so maybe like this one. Helicopter says, I guess I had that problem as well at first, meaning the rendering possibilities of digital stuff. I guess I had that problem as well, and that was because I was overwhelmed with possibilities in all those colors, brushes, and textures. You don't have the traditional limitations that it makes things difficult and confusing. But once you figure out your favorite 3-4 brushes and a color palette, and also some drawing tricks, it should be fine. Yeah, I'm still in this, thank you, Schmelicopter. I'm still in this kind of exploration phase. I looked around, like yesterday I think I just was browsing around for some free Procreate brushes, and I found a few that I actually didn't have before and that I like. So maybe this will help me a little bit. Because the brushes do matter a lot. Like with this stuff, I'm used to it already, and I know the properties of these traditional brushes and all that, but with Procreate, the brushes can do so much different there that it is indeed a little confusing, and especially, you know, all the tweakings of the brushes. I guess unless you are really into that, then I kind of get frustrated when I get to that menu, because there are so many possibilities and I don't understand half of them, like what the parameters do. So yeah, you're absolutely right, I think, or at least I agree with you, Schmelicopter, that figuring out the right tools kind of for that is probably the main focus right now. Alright, so what is the color of the liquid that he has in himself? Which color would make sense? Blue? Or yellow? No, green. What say you, team? OMG, so detailed. I wonder what you were referring to. it's orange. Nah. Maybe blue. Let's give this liquid this nice, maybe like teal. Let's try to make teal. That's a good color. Just a little bit of this yellow, lemon yellow. Such an epic music. Kind of fitting for this character driven illustration. So what else does this guy need? Why aren't concept artists drawing stuff for games and movies yet? That's a really good question. I don't know. I think I'm not good enough for that. Because there are people who are much better at it, and the market is really competitive and saturated, I guess, because everybody who has an iPad is a concept artist, kind of. Don't know. I always wanted to be a concept artist, but kind of never figured out how yet. I mean, my life is not over yet, hopefully. So we'll see how it goes, but I guess there is also the matter of kind of having a business grip a little bit, or I don't know, proactivity and all that kind of stuff, because you need to push and find clients and write everywhere and send your portfolio and all that stuff. Oh, Nervin is saying that she can't write in chat because the iPad doesn't allow her, but she's having a beach day, and this is what she shared on Telegram. It's actually a really cool beach. Will you do more layers, Nervin? Like, it has really nice wavy patterns. Alright, let's add some green reflections and stuff, because if he is metallic, he will have a lot of this green stuff on him, reflected of the jungle forest that he's in. Only the first layer. I really like the shadow under the water. It adds a lot, I think, to the to this one. I think it adds a lot to the depth and like three-dimensionality of it. So keep it up. It's really cool. how is it going there with your robot helicopter? Therapeutic to paint waves. If you want to share that YouTube tutorial, Nervan, you can also send the link to the chat. In case anyone wants to also paint some waves. Some people passing by again. I don't really know how much it affects you guys on the stream, the people going back and forth in front of the window. I don't know how much of that you hear. It's kind of hard to test because if I'm testing the sound, sometimes nobody is passing by, so alright, thank you, Nervin. Let's paint those guys maybe. In different colors. I'm drawing super slowly these last few days. That applies to the robot as well. Is it a conscious decision to draw slower, or is it just the days? Just in the mood for slow drawing or something? No, it's just very hard to concentrate. Let's change the track then. Am I distracting you with the stream? I don't know, you say it's in the last few days, so I wasn't streaming the last few days. Or is it because it's home office days? Background anxiety and uncertainty. Yeah, that doesn't add confidence, I agree. But I think there, like, regarding all these virus things, I think there are basically like two types of overreacting people. There are ones who kind of think that it's all about them, you know, in a way that like, oh, if I get sick then like, it's bad. But it's actually not about individual people, it's more, I think, about people thinking about other people, because, you know, it seems like for younger generations this is just basically like a regular flu, nothing to really be afraid of. For children and for young adults and all that stuff, like that, at least that's, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but that's how I think about that it seems to be okay, like a regular flu, and unless you have some sort of respiratory disease or cardiovascular disease or something like that. But in general, it's just flu. But it's not about individual people, it's about think people thinking about safety of other people, because if it's unsafe for elderly and you go around spreading the shit, then you might kill someone's grandma just because you don't think about that. And this is one group of people, and I think in South Korea there was this patient 31 who spread the virus to like thousands of people. And this is like a prime example of just people being stupid and not caring about other people. And the other thing is that the other group of people is the ones that are buying all the toilet paper. You know, like they're getting ready for a fucking zombie apocalypse, which I think is also overreacting in a bad way, because even people who are not, there is this like psychological research on that topic, that if you go to a shop and you see empty store and empty shelves, you get worried that you might miss some information, or maybe there is someone, I don't know, some secret government plan or whatnot, or the government is not telling you something. Or usually people blame government though, or just in general, like it creates panic, and I don't know. I feel like people just need to think clearer a little bit. Stay more at home, or like don't go to concert. Like take some precautions. But in general, I think it will be fine as soon as European countries start closing borders and start closing like all the venues and all that. People will stop spreading it as much because how dumb people are in general. Yeah, I think like eventually that will be the solution. Just close the border, wait 2-3 weeks. Yes, everybody will lose huge ton of money, like companies, economies and all that, but that's kind of the only way. But all in all, I think we'll be fine. No need for panic, anxiety, or stuff like that. Maybe it's time to buy vacation tickets, because all the airlines are really cutting down the prices, because they're losing so much on these travel bans. Helicopter says, I'm a type of people that just get sad, annoyed and anxious because some shit is happening around, and my mom probably won't be able to visit us as was planned. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's annoying and in some cases sad and all that, but you can't really do anything about it, because this stuff just happens sometimes, and it ruins a lot of plans, but eventually it's gonna be fine, and your mom will visit you, maybe not like in a couple of weeks, but 4 weeks or something. I think it's kind of something to be treated like a basically like a disaster, you know, like an earthquake or tornado or whatnot. It disrupts a lot of stuff. It ruins a lot of plans, and it kills some people, and it sucks obviously, and it's not good, but it's kind of nature. So you just have to sigh and move on. Let's add some shades, some shadows to this guy. And maybe the shadows are a little bit, you know, a little rusty. A little bit of this dirty, rusty shadows. Maybe it's too dirty. Something like this. All right, that's really dark. Let's maybe let's keep it actually that dark and just add more dark stuff on the other parts of his body. I think I should also add some more orange, some more green, just for the reflections on metal from, you know, the stuff that he's holding in hands. Something like this maybe. And back to the shading. Oh, we're streaming for an hour and a half now. It's, I guess, maybe like half an hour left. I think I will finish this guy on stream. Don't think there is that much left to do with him here. mentioned. Maybe he needs some more contrast from the background. Maybe I need to make him a bit darker on the edges. This hand here. Hands are really tough to draw, I must say. Some symbol maybe on his arm, don't know. This arm, on the other hand, his right arm, the left arm from our side, I think is kind of like this robotic arm that can change itself into different forms. So like since it's a gardener kind of robot, he can have a shovel, he can have this, like, you know, this thing for gardening. I don't know how it's called in English. In Russian it's called tyapka. It's really a nice word. Tyapka. Some shadow on this side as well. Have to go now, thank you for the stream. Thank you, Schmelikopter, for joining. Have a good day, and I hope it will get better soon. Won't annoy you so much, at least, maybe. Maybe I also need to add some of these teal highlights on the armor or on the metal here and there, because that liquid in his body, it's probably glowing, maybe. So it would leave some of the bright highlights on the armor around him, but can't really make the glowing effect with watercolor, unfortunately. So I guess it will be just this bluish kind of reflections. Don't think it matters that much in general, but it's maybe nice to add some of these. And some yellow as well here and there. Oh, not like that. Not like that. Oh, shit. Don't know where this yellow is coming from. Let's say that's the direction of the sun, maybe. he will have these highlights everywhere. No. Oh no, shit, it's not green. Damn it. You're right. Doesn't matter as much, I think. It's okay. Let's just add some more shadows in different places to make him a little bit more three-dimensional. Here under all these buttons and nooks and crannies and all these shapes. I guess this is. Oh, wait a second. Chucho also says that she can't write from the phone to Twitch. That's weird. Can't imagine that they turned off the possibility to chat from mobile devices and iPads. That would be really weird. Maybe you need to log in to do that or something. Yeah, the robot is getting his color work done. I think I will finish his head probably right now. And do a little bit of, like, I will darken the background a bit because I feel like it's a bit too bright. Nervin says that for me it says download the app to be able to write and chat. And I know that iPad can't download or update apps. Ah, alright. I see. So basically, yeah, you need Twitch app to be able to chat. I see now. If you're watching from a mobile device, you can only do that if you have a specific app. Maybe later you can download the app to have it ready. No worries, you can use Telegram chat for that. It's called Sketchbook Side Notes for a reason, so it's everything that goes on the side notes can go there. Thank you for joining, Chucha. Even though nobody sees you in chat, we know you're with us. We also have Mosk being sneaky. They changed it, so before you could have you can just log in on the web from the phone I see. But it's, I don't know, I think the app is not such a big hassle usually. Like, they don't ask you to pay for it or anything, so just mildly annoying, but in general I think it's alright. Wanted to paint his head, now I will be painting his armor again, his weapons. This maybe a little darker would be nice. Just mixing red and green gives you this really nice, I mean, depending on the reds and the greens that you have. Sunny day in St. Petersburg. That's rare and something to catch. It's really gloomy here today in the Netherlands. We'll see how it will go, but it doesn't look promising in terms of sun or something like that. I was saying something, but I forgot what it was. Got distracted with the sunny day. What color he has here? Is it, could be green, could be like a blue light. Maybe more like blue. That's more than enough paint there. As we remember, the light is coming from the top left in this case, so I need to leave some of the highlights there. And because it's a very reflective surface, I would need to add some rim lights on the opposite side just to have this nice reflective effect. Theoretically, same goes for this red, but kinda too small to make any difference there. Okay, now painting the head. I think we're almost done with this guy. I think I probably will paint his head and maybe darken the background a little bit. That's a confusing shape here. Can't remember what was my intention. Maybe something like that? Don't know. Guess that's metallic enough. Should we set up a Discord channel I've heard a lot of people are using Discord for these kind of like communities of, I don't know, art communities and stuff like that. Not only art, obviously, but also. But yeah, I think like Discord can be good for sharing the art and keeping in touch, and like having some sort of like a real community here. So people can also share their work and ask for advice and all that and communicate with each other. But that only works for people who have Discord and who are like, interested in that. So theoretically I can set up something like that, and we can, I don't know, have voice chats there as well if needed. Maybe someone else can stream as well one day or something. But on the other hand, like, yeah, it's kind of a hassle, so I would do that only if someone really wants it and will actively participate and all that. So maybe we'll grow first a little bit more, and for that maybe I should stream more often, or different times that people can also choose a better time for them. Can imagine that Sunday morning is a little too specific, like people usually do their own stuff. Kind of my initial idea was to just have it on Sunday morning when everybody is like relaxed and just, getting ready for the day, maybe having breakfast, or maybe already had breakfast and now just drawing a little bit. I thought people have time on Sundays. That was my assumption. Just mixing some reflection, not mixing, drawing some reflections on this glass here. To make it a little bit more glossy. Maybe that helps. I don't know. I guess like that. It's green because it's in the forest, so I think the reflection would also be very much forest-like. She says she won't say anything about scheduling and time because her schedule is very artistic and is just floating around and changing every day, I guess. Yeah, it would be easier to just see what the majority says. Well, we don't have a majority really. That's the thing. We're not there yet to have majority on something. but eventually we will. Still haven't really figured out the comfortable way of coming up with a topic for the stream. It's always a big struggle for me because it's, and you can see like today it's not even a topic, it's just continuation of the previous topic, which I think is fine once in a while, but not always. Before Sunday mornings were perfect for that, but everything changes. True. Life doesn't stay in one place. It's always moving, always flowing. All right, then we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just keep this like that, and I can stream a little bit on Instagram on the evenings or something like that. I think it's easier to just add a couple of little streams than try to change the big one or something like that. Since I'm always mixing everything in the same bowl, kind of, I think it adds the kind of nice color variation around. Maybe I'm fooling myself and it's actually really dirty. But I think it's okay. Maybe some more details here and there. Something along these lines, and I wanted to darken a little bit stuff behind him, but I also want to add the color to the screen that he has in front. We had, in autumn we had this topic. It was called Sea Journey, and the idea was like to draw first the character, then it was actually the hero, the journey, and the reward, if that's what you're relating to. We had this like one continuous topic throughout 3 streams, and it was kind of fun actually. The only thing I kind of don't like about this is that if you haven't been on the previous stream, it might be hard to follow up. Like if you didn't draw the character, you can't really, like if you don't have a hero, you can't really have a journey, But since, first of all, there are quite a few of us here, so, and what I mean by that is that there are not so many of us here, and most of the people in chat, they're kind of here every week, more or less. So it's sort of reliable that we will have the same people to follow along. So maybe that's actually not a bad idea to have something like we had. Just darken some of this grass and leaves in behind, because it don't really, I think like this was a little too low contrast, his arm and the background. Now I can just maybe wash it around a little bit, make it look kind of like there are leaves there, and I don't know, some trees in behind as well. Maybe there's some plants occupying his backpack and growing through it or something like that. There will be more. What if we come up with the tusks in such a way that they have the same topic but don't really block anyone out? That's a good suggestion, Chucha. But it's kind of hard to do. I think that was my intention all along, to have like a topic, but let everybody interpret the topic and tasks the way they want. You know, like if the task is pirates, then you know you can draw a pirate house, or you can draw a pirate himself or herself, or you can draw, you know, like you can go wild here. And that's what I kind of liked about those topics, but they're hard to come up with in a way, at least for me. Like whenever I come up with a topic like that, it feels kind of weird or forced or something like that, and then more often than not, I just decide against it. But if you get any ideas for the topics, please feel free to write them in our Telegram chat, or that's kind of the only way right now. But I mean, you can also write me on Instagram. So there's that. Maybe a little bit more blue, green on the background there. Just to show that there are more trees there, more stuff happening. But also I want to maybe darken this little fellow here, this little plant. Plants all around me. And also this screen is too white, I think. Let's bring it down a little bit, maybe to kinda pale orange. Like this, maybe. And the buttons, don't know, maybe just like just grayish or something. They don't matter that much really. But I think we're actually kind of done with this guy. What do you guys think? We have 2 minutes. Two minutes to mess him up. I think I will add a little bit of shadow behind him on the backpack as well, because this will be in shadow. Maybe something like this. And also on the some volume on this pipe thingy, whatever that is. It connects the battery with the power generator, I think. I'm not a robot expert, but that's my guess. Alright team, I think we will stop the stream here. Thank you all for joining. I hope you had some fun and drew a little bit along. If not, no big deal. We'll see each other next time, the same place, same time. Be kind to each other, stay safe, and I will see you all next time. Have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.